Join me as I dive into some of the most mysterious, airy, and shocking stories the ocean has to tell. Let's jump into it. The ocean is a time capsule, preserving eons of stories untold. Far beneath the waves we now ride upon, deep into the recesses of darkness, lay mountains of secrets, lost stories, and more, all weaved together by tragic endings. Because only the misfortunate sink below, forever resting upon the seabed, their bones shrouded alongside whatever belongings they might have had. But once in a blue moon, light shimmers into the darkness, illuminating one of the many untold stories, unveiling what might have otherwise been forever lost. But what will it be? A tale of a lonesome merchant? The woes of a fearless warrior? Or the tragic struggles of two passionate lovers? Or maybe the ending of an entire civilization? Here's an 8,000-year-old village in Lake Orchid, Albania, and it's completely underwater because the ocean's insatiable cravings claimed every inch of this once thriving community. But the true mystery of this place isn't what's within the sunken village, but what's surrounding it. Upwards of 100,000 wooden spikes encompass its perimeter, forming some kind of protective barrier against the outside world. But they would have had to cut down an entire forest to do so. This blows my mind. How in the heck did an 8,000-year-old civilization manage to do such a crazy thing? Let me know in the comments what you think, because I have no idea. But what I do know is that the ocean revealed one mystery just to reveal another, like layers of an onion. And as I kept peeling, I realized the ocean was not only dark in mystery, but dark in humor too. Because how ironic is it for an unsinkable ship like the Titanic to be taken out by a mere iceberg on a clear night? Maybe it had to do with the fact they had no binoculars. Or maybe it was because they didn't smash that like button, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up. But its dark humor quickly sinks into harrowing despair as we contemplate the lives lost that night. Is this what made the Titanic so tragic? Because if it were about the number of deaths, then the sinking of the Wilhelm Gustloff during World War II would be the most famous. It overshadows every shipwreck known to mankind, claiming more lives than the Titanic and 9/11 combined. Shocking, yes, intriguing, undoubtedly, but those are just numbers on a screen. Without a story to tell, we might as well be staring at a math problem, cold and indifferent. And how can you relate to that? The Titanic was so tragic not because of the number of bodies floating upon the sea, but because even if Jack and Rose were fictional, you know there's an untold story of two lovers aboard that ship that really did perish that night, having succumbed to the bone-chilling, ice-cold water. In other words, the Titanic vividly invokes our imagination. So let us peel one layer deeper to invoke your imagination once more as I share with you this harrowing true story from the ocean's deep. Imagine this. You're on a merchant ship, Batavia, with a bunch of gold and silver. You're accompanied by a large crew including a commander, a captain, and a bankrupt heretic that fled his homeland. You sail past Cape of Good Hope in 1628, but little did you know, only ill-fated doom awaited you, because the captain and heretic were planning to steal the ship and run away with the gold, and they were willing to do anything to make it happen. But before they could seize control, fate struck like Thor's lightning bolt. The ship crashed near Beacon Island, a remote place near Australia where no rays of light shone upon the crew. They all swam ashore, but misfortune quickly turned into despair because unimaginable horrors were soon to follow. But not for you, because you left with the commander on a longboat to seek help. Months later, you returned. But what you found were no longer humans, but savages, because a bloody massacre went down. Turns out, the heretic formed a group of bandits, and they brutally slaughtered over 100 men, women, and children to keep all of the supplies to themselves. But in their darkest of hours, they also murdered people for their own pleasure. And to top it all off, they kept a few girls as slaves to make them do things I can't say on YouTube. Now imagine you didn't go back with the commander. Imagine you stayed behind. Would you have preferred to make it inland, taking your chances with these brutes? Or would you have prayed for the ocean to take you under, crushing you beneath its waves before making it ashore? As for myself, I'm not sure. Pun intended. But any good story ebbs and flows, bringing you down as quickly as it brings you up. And so, we must shift tones into a brighter shade before things get too dark. Let's venture back into the grips of the mysterious ocean, to the deck of the Flying Dutchman, a phantom ghost ship cursed to roam the open seas for all of eternity. Well, on second thought, let's save that for another video. Subscribe. Our journey continues 60 miles from Sparta, a once warrior city-state of ancient Greece. There lay the oldest shipwreck known to man, the 4,000-year-old Dokos shipwreck. But it completely decomposed into ocean dust. Nothing remains there but the ceramic vases it once carried. But once in a blue moon, a ship sinks deep down into the dark blue in a place without oxygen. Under perfect conditions, this means the ship will never decay, no matter how much time goes by. Just check out the Uluburun shipwreck, which is over 3,000 years old. It looks amazing, doesn't it? But even cooler, it's all the things that sank with it. It had blackwood logs from Africa, jewelry from Egypt, and even swords from Italy. Heck, it had figurines, oil lamps, you name it, it had it. Like a mast, this raises one very greedy curiosity. Where's the gold? Well, there's probably more ghosts than treasures buried with the Uluburun ship. But we don't have to look far to find riches. I introduce to you the San Jose. This Spanish ship sank near Cartagena in Colombia with millions of gold coins and hundreds of tons of silver and emeralds. It was sunken by British warships in 1708 and remains underwater to this very day, with all of its riches collecting ocean dust upon the seabed floor. I'd invite you to scuba dive down with me to bring up some coins, but there's one big problem. The site is protected by the Colombian government, and trust me, that's one country we don't want to mess with. But heck, money talks. Maybe you're brave enough to do it. Maybe you have the heart of a treasure hunter like the infamous Mel Fisher, who discovered the Nuestra Señora de Atocha. Forgive my Spanish, but he reeled in so much gold that he almost had a heart attack. All you'll need is a map, a compass, and some luck. Just be careful, because I wouldn't want your ship to sink in exploration of one's already sunk. But before you go, let me ask you one thing. Out of everything we talked about, what story would you like me to do a full video on? Be sure to let me know in the comments. Again, thank you for joining me on this episode of The Untold Truths.